The QAnon Shaman who became the face of January 6th. And what I mean by the face of January 6th, the mainstream media chose this guy who was dressed up. I mean, he's a performance artist. He was dressed in this ridiculous outfit with horns and fur, and I think he was shirtless, but he looks absurd, right? They used this guy to stereotype every Trump supporter as being some kind of violent, crazed lunatic that breached the Capitol. When in reality, what do the videotapes at the Capitol show? It shows no such thing when it comes to the QAnon shaman, whose name, by the way, whose real name is Jacob Chansley. He sits in prison right now for what? This is what he did at the Capitol. Take a look.
Dangerous conspiracy theorist dressed in outlandish costume who led the violent insurrection to overthrow American democracy. For these crimes, Chansley was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison, far more time than many violent criminals now receive. What did Jacob Chansley do to receive this punishment? To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened once he got inside. Virtually every moment of his time inside the Capitol was caught on tape. The tapes show that Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him. They acted as his tour guides. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us in this building.
So right now, as we're watching this video footage for the first time, it wasn't released. Nancy Pelosi refused to release it when she was Speaker of the House because the Speaker of the House controls the Capitol Police. So at the time, Speaker Pelosi controlled the Capitol Police, controlled these videos. She refused to release them to the American people. The January 6th committee was allowed access to them. That we'll talk about in just a moment. But here's my question. As we watch this video footage right now, Jacob Chansley sits in prison. He's incarcerated. He's facing a 4-year prison sentence for breaching the United States Capitol. There's no proof that he breached the United States Capitol. We'll see in other video footage, and Tucker Carlson aired video footage that showed from the inside police officers opening the door. So if the barrier around the Capitol that was supposed to secure a perimeter where people weren't allowed to cross that line, if that barrier had been removed and there was no barrier, how were people supposed to know that they weren't allowed there? How are they culpable if they are unaware that they're not allowed in a certain area? And if the door is opened by a police officer, that seems like a welcome. That seems like a permissible entry. That's not breaching the Capitol. So here's my question. Jacob Chansley is sitting in prison after being convicted and now is serving a 4-year prison sentence. Was he allowed to use this video at his trial? This video is what's called exculpatory evidence. It disproves the prosecution's case against Jacob Chansley. He wasn't allowed to use this. Was he allowed to use this? If so, why have we not seen this before? Why have we not heard about this before? How was this man convicted if he wasn't allowed to use this? And if he wasn't allowed to use this, was this not a violation of his fundamental constitutional rights?